Have you ever felt fear? True fear. The fear that comes upon you when you are in a position of helplessness, hope, recedes to the back of your mind as the scope of your dilemma gains clarity and all you can do is pray for your survival. Or for a drastic miracle that will change the heart of your predator. True fear. That's what little Emma felt. Sitting on her bed in a curled state, shaking as if she was set on vibrate, sweat crept across her clothes as her urine crept across her sheets, her heart pounding like something out of drumline making sick, beats as her door, made of pine, slowly creaked, her adrenaline quickly peaked. Standing in the doorway was a large figure that had the shape of a man, but was really her grim reaper coming to reap her childhood even though it was still green. As he entered the room, tears filled her eyes, and she whispered to herself, I wish he would just die. It was a monster, a large 35-year-old hairy monster that fed off her innocence and found pleasure in her weakness. He closed the door behind him and slowly approached her. She hid under her pillow, hoping he would just go. He said, Hey Emma, come out from under your shell. Everything will be all right as long as you don't tell. He took away her pillow, pinned her down, covered her mouth so she couldn't make a sound. She said, no, please don't touch me there. He said, shut up, I'll touch where I want, you see. I'm the boss here. He had his way with her, then whispered into her ear, if you tell anyone, I'll kill you, I swear. He left her traumatized with bloodshot eyes, and every night thereafter she cried herself to mourning the death of the sweet little girl she once was. Depression began to set in and thoughts of suicide crept in. She began to hate men and vowed to never date them. However, she longed for intimacy, but the molestation, unforgiving pain of her past rendered her broken. She is now a 28-year-old woman with a desire to get married and have babies, but her fear of men has her seeking the alternative with ladies. Whenever she sees men, all she sees is semen. She can't seem to see men as who God created them to be. She's broken because her innocence was stolen at a tender age. And so whenever she tries to turn a new page with men, it doesn't take long for her to realize that all they want to do is open her book, read her pages, insert their bookmarks so that they can possess her for ages, too blinded by their desires to realize that she's broken and requires more than sexual healing. All men are dogs is a tune that is on repeat in her brain. For from her memory, nothing can remove the stain of the pain she felt when her protector became her predator. When the monster in the closet turned out to be her father, no 10-eyed, slimy, scaly creature with fangs and claws could ever compare to her father. The man whose genes make up half of her became one with her, and she would go crazy if that same tragedy were to ever come upon her daughter, so she lives in fear. Have you ever felt fear? True fear. The kind of fear that caused Emma to build a diamond wall around her heart, allowing no man to get close enough for it to be influenced by his love. She plays with men's emotions like a child plays with their PlayStation, pressing buttons, pointing her triangle-shaped arrowhead right at their hearts, boxing them in with her facade of love. And when she has beaten the game, she makes him an X, leaving an O where his heart used to be. She moves on to the next one faster than you can say fatality, ignoring her true desires for commitment and intimacy. Because to her, all that is now a fantasy, never to be her reality. She has switched roles from victim to monster. Tell your boys to beware, for she is taking her frustrations out on every gamer who dares to play with her. And that's how it was. Yes, that's how it was. Until she met a man named Roger, who loved a man named Jesus, who didn't fall prey to her charm. He resisted her seduction and rejected her flirtation. He was the center of her confusion, for he was destroying her destruction. He loved her with the love of the one I mentioned earlier, Jesus. It baffled her, for never before had she met a man she could not melt with her stare. A man she couldn't seduce into giving her whatever she wanted, from his house to his hair. A man who wanted to be her friend. A man who was more concerned about her well-being than how well she could bend over and over. He would show her that she was worth more than what she had settled for. And slowly but surely, Emma's fear turned into hope. Have you ever felt hope? True hope. The kind of hope that transforms a pessimist into an optimist. Hope that makes every morning a blessing, and all of a sudden there are more reasons for living than there are reasons for dying. The wall around Emma's heart crumbled under the weight of Jesus' love that was shown to her through Roger. The gospel sank in, which brought about her salvation. She has accepted Jesus' ministry of reconciliation, and now she is a new creation, living for Him who died for her. She's healed. No longer a slave to fear or vengeance, the monsters of anger and resentment have been let out of her closet and slain by forgiveness. Emma grew to trust Roger, and she eventually grew to love him too. They got married and had twins who are now both two. It doesn't matter who or what has broken you. You can take hold of the blessings that God has in store for you. I'm talking to you. You rape victims, you victims of bullying, you victims of verbal and physical abuse. You can rise above your pain, rise above your fear, rise above the evil that says be happy if you dare, if only you allow the love of Christ to do its work in you. I'm telling you, you can be saved too. 1 Peter 4 verse 8 says, above all, my friends, love each other deeply, for love covers over a multitude of sins. Amen. Amen.